Okay, so today is Tuesday, October 30th, and this past Saturday, we made a video where we were walking 7 properties, and we did some analysis, went back home, and decided that we were gonna make an offer on one of those. And so, even in this short time frame from then till now, we've already noticed some lessons learned that I wanted to kind of jot down in this video. And so this is 4 lessons that we've learned in the process so far. So the first one, and this is really a lesson that I picked up from Grant Cardone, it's not my lesson, and that is when it comes to making an offer, get in as quick as you know that, as soon as you know that you want that property, get in quick. And if you're in doubt, get in on terms that favor you as the person making the offer. Because if anything, they'll just negotiate and they'll come back, and it's better to ask and then have that negotiation than to go in with a modest deal and miss out on the possibility that they could just accept a great deal. And actually, that is what happened to us. So the second lesson is related to that. It's just ask. So do you want to go into what did we ask?
Yeah, so the property was originally listed for $499. And so, after some discussion, John and I were like, okay, well, either we could offer $485, going lower, or we could offer the asking price and ask for seller concessions. So, kind of the thought process behind that was get the house with as little cash out of pocket as possible. So we had already arranged a 0 down payment with Navy Federal, and now we have $10,000 of seller concessions that are going to go towards closing costs, which actually we come to find out that our closing costs aren't even $10,000. So we're going to be actually getting money in the pocket for purchasing the property. So, one of the things we were kind of worried about originally, we were thinking $499 and asking for $5,000 of closing cost assistance. And we just kind of thought about it a little more after talking to our realtor, and he said, they're interested in the net. So we were like, okay, well, let's offer or ask for $10,000 assistance. So, kind of our lesson there was don't be afraid to ask. If you think that you're asking for too much, you never know. That could be a really good deal to them. So don't worry too much about that. So, the kind of just going back to what I said with talking to our realtor is using your network. So you talk to them about that? Yeah.
So there's another piece of our network, which is a property management company out of Maryland. And this really relates to both lessons, just ask and also use your network. So the existing property where we currently live, the decision came up, should we sell that or should we lease that? And we originally intended to lease it, but basically the market comp rents were looking less than the mortgage. It would be a negative nominal cash flow and possibly just a bad idea. So then it would become a good idea to sell it. But we reached out to the property management company and asked them, hey, could we do a little bit higher mortgage? Would you all place someone at a higher rate? And they said, we can try it out. No guarantees, obviously, but they'll try it out. So just ask. Related to that, we also asked, could we rent out the basement separately? If we pay to get a separate entrance put in and a dividing wall put in, could you lease that basement as a separate unit? And at first they said no. And the reason being that they could not separately meter utilities. But I said, what if we say that the utilities are included in the rent? So us as the owners will pay utilities on both units, and it's just utilities included. And then the property management company said they were flexible enough to say, yeah, we'll try that. So that could potentially be very positive cash flow, which is a great alternative to just selling the property. And that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't just asked, can y'all consider a higher? Can you consider X? Can you consider Y? Even if it's not normally within their policy. So that goes to asking. That goes to the network. What was the fourth lesson?
So the fourth lesson is cheaper is not always better. It's not always the best investment. So, we looked at 7 properties on Saturday and narrowed it down to 3 that we would be comfortable making an offer on. So luckily for us, we got our number 1 choice. The second choice was actually one that was a little bit over our budget at $510, and the third one was a little, quite a bit under our budget at $480. So, knee-jerk reaction would be, oh, go for the one that's $480. But when you actually sit down and look at the numbers, the one that's $510 was able to get higher rent. It also wasn't already updated or renovated like the one that was $480. So if we wanted to put additional money or investments in it, we could easily increase the property value. Whereas the one that was 480, there wasn't really much else that we could do to it to do that. So, kind of looking overall at those numbers, don't just immediately jump to, oh, this is the cheapest property, it's under our budget, therefore it must be the best investment, because that's not always the case.
Cool. All right, and that is the 4 lessons that we've had so far.